So, the time to do the trick arrived today. And I think it was perfect timing. Yesterday there was a storm brewing, the light was off, too many people were there trying to make things happen. And, you know, most importantly, I just really my heart wasn't in it. Today, I went back with no intention, actually, no plan to revisit what I had started. I was actually had my sights set on something else that I've been wanting to do. But the day got rolling. Actually, no pun intended. I did not mean to make that a pun. And a few old friends stopped by or showed up. And, you know, the session got cooking. People were doing things. One of my friends, John, landed a trick that's pretty difficult, in my opinion. I mean, considering the obstacle he did it on. Other people were doing things, feeling, you know, the energy was high. So it was good. And, you know, as my friend John was locked into battling his trick, it inspired me to revisit the trick that I started yesterday. And I had to have tried that thing hundreds of times today before finally figuring out what it was that I was doing wrong. Within 3 tries to figuring that out, I was rolling away. So, feeling stoked about having figured it out, what my problem was, and adjusting to render success, I decided to, you know, actually get it on film. And, you know, confident that I had figured it out, that I could do it pretty much on command. Again, I was wrong. I had to have tried it. My guess is in the 50s, 30 to 50 range. After initially riding away from it without filming it, I'm glad that I chose to do that because it cuts right to the heart of what skateboarding is all about and honestly what life is all about. And being in the world is all about connecting with other people. And, you know, I was given the opportunity to show someone who's relatively new to the act of skateboarding kind of what to expect in the long run. The final product of skateboarding is polished, although sometimes very grimy yet polished. I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. It can be grimy. And usually when you're doing it in the streets, it is. It's a grimy thing. But there is elegance. It's elegance amidst the grime is what it is, I think. Because not only is it a form of dance, it's also a martial art. And martial arts take dedication. It takes an individual to go through a lot of pain. And persevering through that pain, mind over matter. And there's a lot of value to that. If an individual can overcome matter with their mind, what's stopping them from doing anything? Now, the interesting thing about skateboarding is that it's, in my opinion, honestly more enjoyable, more rewarding than any other thing that an individual can do with their body. To do it proficiently, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of practice, a lot of failure, mostly failure. It's actually probably 98% failure. 2% you can reserve when you build up a foundation of basic things that you're comfortable doing. You can flow around and have fun with that. But for the most part, the real skateboarding is pushing yourself, pushing your limits, going beyond what you think your body is possible of doing. And I feel like that's what I did today, because I stuck with figuring out that trick that I started but didn't finish. And so I finished it today. I endeavored to finish it today. And one of the biggest inspirations for me was the fact that I was telling myself that I know that I can do this. And it was true. And when I said that to myself, that's when I started figuring it out. I started believing in myself. I started saying, oh wait, no, this is possible. I actually can do this. I know that I can. And yeah, that's when I, closely around that time is when I figured out what I was doing wrong. And what's interesting is a millimeter of a degree of a difference in the way my shoulders were positioned as I was approaching the obstacle is all that it took. That's the adjustment that it took. This is a very small adjustment that made a very large impact. It does feel like torture, oftentimes. You know, we put ourselves through this endeavor to ride away from things that we believe that we can do. And, you know, sometimes, like earlier, I was satisfied with not rolling away from it because I knew that I could do it. So I waited for the right time, and today was the right time because there was an individual at the skate park that was learning how to kickflip. He had never kickflipped before, and I find that incredibly inspiring because not often do you get the opportunity to witness someone land their first kickflip. It's a very special moment. I firmly believe that it unlocks several universes worth of possibilities.
Hey, editing Corey here. I just wanted to briefly elaborate on why witnessing someone land their first kickflip is an inspiring event. And it's because it's the purest form of what it is we're doing on a skateboard and in life. We are inspired to act. We choose to act on that inspiration. We push through the various challenges to arrive at our goal. We either, depending on the commitment level, the dedication, the perseverance, the ability to put mind over matter, we'll either learn how to kickflip or we won't learn how to kickflip. In a way, it's a measurement of a person's perseverance, a person's dedication, a person's unwillingness to give up. And I think in a lot of ways, that's what skateboarding is. It is a symphony, when done well, of perseverance. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said about why witnessing a person land their first kickflip is an inspiring event. I could probably write volumes of commentary about the first kickflip a person lands and why it's inspiring, but this is a brief video and I'm not going to elaborate on that. And this is the editing Corey, and we're gonna go back to the video now.
So I was there to encourage him and inspire him to do and you know, like diagnose what it is that he was doing wrong. And it gave me an opportunity to show him, like I was saying earlier, what skateboarding is all about, which is failure after failure after failure after failure, sticking with it and getting that big payoff in the end when you stick with it and committing to the battle to win. And you know, the lighting was better, the angle that I was filming from, which thankfully to the homie Jaden, he filmed it. The guy that was learning how to kickflip got a better angle there, was able to, you know, have a follow shot, which is awesome. Much better when it comes to these types of activities, these individual martial arts, really. It's more cinematic that way. It really does require a community of people to make skateboarding look polished. So I'm very grateful for him dedicating his time to making sure that that was captured. because the one that did get captured was infinitely better than the one that I had initially done. So I'm also glad for that. So he got to see how it's okay to wait for the right time to do something, and that, you know, it might not be now. It might be at a different time. Just the time isn't right. And that's okay. It's okay that something doesn't come together. Because if you believe in yourself, it will. Things are only possible when we believe they're possible. You know, we project our own reality from within. I think I can't see it any other way at this point. So when we operate from fear, from distrust, from anxiety, and these are all things that I'm very familiar with, so I'm speaking from experience. When we operate from a place of hesitation, apathy, that's what we get in life. That's what we get. It reflects back to us our inner state. So, you know, I was there, had no real plan, just to be. Do what I know. Let this message be an anthem to believing in ourselves, to believing in the best version of ourselves. So if something isn't happening that you're endeavoring to accomplish, it might be the case that it's not that you can't do it, but that it's not the right time. It's just not the time for it to unfold. There will be a better time for it to unfold. So don't ever give up on what it is that you want to do. Keep at it, keep trying, give yourself rest, let the moment breathe. And believe in yourself. The way is the harmony of the universe when one comes into the spirit, when one sees how it is, one understands that behind all the individual differences, man, woman, big, little, old, young, good, bad, every label you can think of becomes background instead of figure. What stands out is, here we are, here and now. That's all there is. And if it isn't beautiful, man, there's nothing. So you say, well, I can't have it beautiful now, but later, when we get the food home, it will be beautiful. Later never exists. What's happened to life insurance, to tenure, to planning, saving, responsibilities, nothing's happened to any of it.